You're cruising at about 50, foot barely on the gas, when the whole car starts to shudder. Not a hard shake, more like you have drifted onto a rumble strip, except the pavement is smooth, and you are sitting dead center in your lane. So you take it in. The tech scans it and hands you the line that empties a bank account. The torque converter is failing. You are looking at a rebuild. The quote slides across the counter, north of $2,000. He is not lying to you, but he is not telling you the whole truth, because there is a $15 tube on the shelf at the same parts store he orders from, and on a huge number of these cars, it makes that exact shudder disappear. Same smooth ride, for less than an oil change. How it works, I will hold for a minute. The reason your shop never mentioned it has nothing to do with whether it works, and everything to do with what it earns them. It fixes this on most ordinary automatics, built in the last 20 years, with a couple of exceptions I will be honest about. If you have ever been overcharged for a problem that was really nothing, follow along. Let us go back to that counter. Back at that counter. When the scanner pulls a code here, what it usually points to is torque converter clutch shudder, and that is a genuine documented condition. It shows up in the car maker's own service bulletins, described almost word for word as a feeling like driving over rumble strips at a steady cruise. So the diagnosis is real. The trouble is what comes next. There are two ways to make that shudder stop. The first fills a repair bay for the better part of a day. They drop the transmission, replace the converter, refill the fluid, and hand you a bill that runs $800 to $2,500 at an independent shop and higher at a dealer. The second costs less than lunch and takes about 10 minutes in your driveway. Almost every shop will only ever quote the first one. And here's what should make you suspicious. The cheap fix didn't crawl out of some backyard. It came straight from the people who rebuild transmissions for a living. To understand why a tube this cheap can do what a rebuild does, you have to go back to what transmissions used to run on. For decades, automatic transmission fluid got its smoothness from one strange ingredient: oil from the head of a sperm whale. It was a natural wax ester, and it was nearly perfect. It cut friction, held up under heat, and let the internal clutches grab and release without chattering. Then, in 1970, the sperm whale went on the endangered list, and by the 1973 model year, car makers had to pull that ingredient out. Transmissions started failing in numbers nobody had seen before, and the whole industry scrambled to build a synthetic stand-in for what the whale had been doing. The friction modifier in that $15 tube is the great-grandchild of that scramble. It's the same class of chemistry the professional rebuild trade has leaned on ever since, concentrated down into a little bottle. This isn't a backyard hack.